Hello everybody and welcome to another Sunday here at Clean Valley Farms. Today is the last Sunday in May and I figured we'd start with the apple trees today. Looking over at the crab apple, you can see it's still got lots of its smaller flowers on it. The apple tree in front of it still has yet to produce any blossoms, so I don't think we're going to get any fruit from that this year. And the one here in the fairy garden seems to have had all its blossoms pretty much blown off by this point. But if we look carefully, it almost looks like the fruit is starting to form. I'm thinking it forms here. More experienced apple growers can let me know. But if that is the case, we should have quite a few apples on this tree this year. I mean, I guess don't count your apples before they're picked, but still. It's looking very promising. And coming around the side here, I have two melons that survived the aphid wars, but they don't seem to be surviving all that well the trip outside. Now, if you've grown melons before, maybe you can let me know. I'm thinking I want to bury this vine so that it's got a little bit more moisture, but I don't know if melon vines will produce roots the way a tomato branch, or I should say a tomato stalk would. But it would be really nice to see this honeydew kind of take over and go up the side here, and over here I think we have a Gallia melon, G-A-L-I-A, you tell me. The stem broke on that. But I tried to bury it up a little bit, and it still sort of seems like it's struggling for life, so that would be really nice if it works out. So yeah, maybe you can let me know in the comments below whether or not I can bury these vines a little bit more and produce a little bit more of a root system there. And then here in the aquaponics shop, we're just in time for the drain to start, but as you can see, there's lots of green going on in here. Still dealing with those pH issues and all that jazz, but also seem to be doing a little bit of the permaculture pirate thing in here. I've got some apple cuttings in here that I'm hoping to root. I've got some honeyberry cuttings in here I'm hoping to root. And these are cuttings from what we believe to be a plum tree. I left the flower on here because I thought maybe that would help y'all to identify whether or not this is actually a plum tree for me or not. No fruit left on the ground underneath it, but going from the flower and the shape of the leaves and hoping it's a plum. We've got 3 in there. The leaves don't seem to be taking it too bad. Here's what I ended up doing for the water flow right now. It is 3. I had this one and that one under the water for a little while. Didn't seem to make that much of a difference to the flow, so I'm just putting it back on top for the aeration. The fish are all hiding at the bottom, doing their thing. I'm amazed anything's growing at all with a mere 10 goldfish in this much water. Definitely need to get some more fish. Got a bucket here with some of those little tree bushes, whatever they are, that I pulled out of the garden the other day. I believe it was Troll Forge suggested they might be blueberries, so therefore they're going to need something acidic, or some acidic soil I should say, to get planted in. I haven't done anything with them yet because I found a huge one of these same bushes just out back. So I'm thinking maybe I don't need to. Took the tops off of those pop bottle plant starters the other day, and it looks like the green one actually came up with a lot more shoots than the clear one did. So what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to finish cleaning out the back half of the windmill garden, and I'm going to plant those in orange habaneros, I guess. Still don't know what that is, but I've left it in because it looks nice. We got a couple of goji berries here. These guys are doing just great. There's the black lace elderberry, still doing just fine. Getting on time to trim that pretty soon. I know a certain somebody who's waiting for that. Down here at the end, we still got 5 very tiny pepper starts. No real growth in those since I brought them out. But they haven't died yet either, so I'll take that as a positive. Come on, red demons. Time to get rid of this weed, though. That's not needed. And it's pretty much the same deal with these Peter's peppers along the front of the windmill garden here. They haven't died on me, but I'm not seeing any real signs of growth yet. Then again, you know, it's not even June. I've heard rumors of snow in the first week of June out here, so if they still haven't grown by the end of June, then I'll be worried. Looks like one of the loofahs I planted out by the windmill here might make it. The other one definitely looks dead, so I'm going to throw some seeds out here and Hopefully they'll have time to grow. In the corn patch here I've got lots of little bits of grass that are popping up, but I don't see anything that I'm going, oh hey, that's definitely corn about yet. However, the number of rocks we've dug up are making quite a decent path here in the middle. In the back you can see that one patch of peas is doing alright. The radishes seem to be trying to come back, despite the ravagings of those canola beetles or whatever they are. So I'm very hopeful those will come up. In the middle of this patch here, it looks like some of those cylinder beets are doing the best they can to come up. Got some weeds, but here's hoping for the beets. These little guys are starting to look a little bit more like Swiss chard seedlings, so that's promising. Be nice to see them pop up. And just up from them we've got the Detroit red beets. Some of those seem to be popping up as well. This front row of kale seem to be doing better. This one in the middle wasn't doing all that great, but it seems to be perking back up. So that's good. I've at least got one of each of those on the grow out here in the soil. And I've got that Brussels sprout just kind of surviving. Nothing going on in the bean rows yet. I don't know how long they take to sprout, but I'm hopeful, as always. Here in the pepper patch, the sun has done a lot of damage because I forgot to harden things off this year. Again. But a lot of these plants look like they might just make it anyway, which would be great. I'd hate to see all that effort of the green room just going straight to the compost. Got some new leaves coming in, things looking stronger. So I am, of course, very hopeful for this. Eggplant way at the end there. The one in the back looks like it might just make it. Not so sure about the one in the front, but I'll take 1 out of 2. So I planted 4 of the improved long green English, or improved long green cucumbers. 3 of them have made it so far. As you can see, there's a lot more damage from the sun. Again, not hardened off. When will I learn? It's one of those things. But if we look at some of the tomatoes in this patch here, I'll change the angle so we can get a better look at that. This was educational. These 3, I believe, are the bush beefsteaks. And they seem to have made it, but they're struggling. And beside it here, we've got the celebrity hybrids. Again, seem to have survived, but definitely struggling. This one I think would be the best of the 3 there. And over here we have the summertime gold dwarf tomato plants. Now Rob Bob sent me these from Australia, and you can tell it's a sturdy leaf. It's doing much better with the sun, even though it hasn't been hardened off or anything. Beside it we've got a red pear tomato. Now look at that poor thing. Flopped over the wire, looking pretty much dead, but not quite. So I think I'm going to throw a few more seeds in at the ground there for the red pears, and hopefully we'll have some time with direct sowing for those to pop up. This next tomato here we call the Volunteer Sweet Juliet, although I'm starting to think it's more of a San Marzano than a Sweet Juliet. It seems to sort of be making it, but here is our prize winner. This is the Blood Ripple tomato, also from Rob Bob down in Oz there, and this has without a doubt been the most successful at being transplanted outside. If you give the background noise, the neighbor just decided to rip up and down the back field on his quad. And then over here we have another beefsteak. It's labeled a bush beefsteak, but I think it's just a beefsteak. That one there, totally dead. This one here, struggling. So again, I'm probably going to throw in a few seeds. And then in this back corner here, where I did all my digging, I think that's where I'm going to put those purple Cherokee tomatoes seedlings from upstairs. Which leads us to the bunker garden, which is, you know, the rain is starting to reveal a few of these seeds. Nothing's popping up just yet, but I mean, I only just planted this a few days back, so not much expected to be popping up there just yet. Hopeful though. Keep covering up the seeds when I see them exposed by the rain. Looks like I've got a few more seeds to cover up there today. Let's take a look at the spruce garden. As you can see, I still haven't gotten to weeding that back portion of it yet. It's been very damp and kind of cold the last few days. But the section here that was attacked, looking much better. So far all my little pepper starts still seem to be alive. It's the same as in the windmill garden, you know, they're not dying off on me, but they're not showing any exceptional signs of growth yet. And of course it's only been like 2 days, so no squash or sunflower sprouts there yet either. All things in time, right? You can't tell from looking at it, but I did weed the onion patch a little bit. The greens on these things are doing exceptionally well. Pulled up a few of the bulbs the other day though, they were kind of squishy. Thinking it's just a little too damp right now. Still not quite sure what this is, but it's growing everywhere. Gonna have to go though, kind of in the way where it is right now. And if I didn't plant it, it's not essential. Some big dandelions in here to pull too. As for the berry bushes, here's the Saskatoon, looking alright. Except still for that little twig in the middle there that I haven't cut out. Really hoping this bears some fruit for me this year. And then on the other side of that tree is the Gooseberry. Our little $4 fruit bush. But it looks like a lot of those blossoms have been ravaged by the bees and will hopefully produce fruit. So very excited to taste something that I've never had before, but I'm growing anyway. And here we have the Polar Jewel Honeyberry. Not looking quite as good as it was before. Hoping that's because it's putting so much energy into fruit right now. Could also be because of the gray that we've had for the last few days. But still seems to be surviving its transplant fairly well. And the Borealis Hascat berry is definitely settling right in, looking quite content. Hopefully we'll get a few berries from this year as well. And then we've got the red currant, is the last of the berry bushes that we have here. It still seems to be doing pretty well. I don't see that little cluster of berries that I thought was started on there, but may have been nabbed by one of the local birds already. These guys are quick, and there's lots of them. And that about wraps it up for the Sunday in the garden today. You know, we've taken a look at the berries, we've taken a look at the fruit trees for now. We may have some cherry trees on their way, which would be great. Also hoping to get some rhubarb, some raspberries, you know, just the things along those lines. But it's a farm. It grows as you go. Let's get back out of here so I can actually open my eyes. So there you go, everybody. Another Sunday in the garden come and gone. I want to thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead. I will see you sometime during that week. Who knows?